Muad'Dib! What's up, everybody? You trying to Dune it?
Yeah.
I'm here Duning it.
Holy shit.
It's Adam and Justice. This is Requiem for a Tuesday. Welcome. I'm trying to get sand in your pussy.
Fresh off the worm. Here to do the duty.
Let's fucking go. I never knew that I
Was a Dune head?
didn't know that I loved Islam. What a riveting story, you know? Star Wars is a ripoff. I learned that,
True.
which I guess I should have known
100%.
because it's trash. And
This is gearing up for a lot right now. I've been
this
looking
is going to
forward
be a
this.
big one. Oh, this is going to be a big one. Chalamet,
At his best.
my stock is, I feel great about all the stock I have in Chalamet. It's at an all-time high right now. He's about to be Bob Dylan after this.
Which is going to be incredible.
Absolutely. So, like, I'm just all in. That's my guy. I've been a big Chalamet guy ever since, what? I think the first thing I saw him in was Lady Bird.
I haven't seen Lady Bird.
Lady Bird's fucking awesome, dude. Go see Lady Bird. Like, for a long time, was the #1 movie in the history of Rotten Tomatoes. It had 100%.
Lady Bird.
It had, like, the highest number of 100%, like 100 review, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Highest quantity while being at 100%. And then somebody had to ruin it.
Well, another movie took its place.
No, somebody ruined it and was like, it's a bad movie.
Oh, no.
It's not a bad movie. It's like objectively just great. I love that movie. Anyway, we're here for Dune. Rate, review, subscribe. Check the links in the description. Justice got some things in the works. You know, we'll talk about it as it comes closer. We got a long way to go, though. He's a little diva. So
MicrowaveMinutes.com.
we have to massage the diva, and then she'll come out and play, but we'll get there. Check out all the links, share the episode, give us some push. Kiss my tush. All right.
Are we laying right into it with Dune Part 2, or are we starting
No.
at the beginning?
We are going to... So here's the thing. Yeah, I'll lay the foundation here a little bit. If you read
sure am confused.
We're doing... Don't say that. What is that? I didn't like that at all. We're doing Dune. We're going to... Once I manage to get through this, if I can, Justice is going to do his initial review of David Lynch's Dune. We're going all the way back as some Lynch heads here. Then we're going to do Denis Dune 1, then Denis Dune 2. And then whatever. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a long ride. I can feel it.
No way.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel like I have a lot to say, and I feel like you're going to say some left field crazy things that I'm going to be flabbergasted multiple times.
No way.
I
think we
sense it.
felt the same about the movie.
We'll see. That's almost never the case, I think.
Right on. So I'm leading with Lynch's Dune. That's what's happening
it just
right
makes
now?
sense to go chronologically. But first I want to say, were you familiar with Dune in any capacity before seeing whatever movie you saw? I assume you saw Dune Part 1 when it came out. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Were you familiar with any Dune things leading into Dune, the movie?
No, I did not.
Had you heard of it at all?
Barely.
Okay. So you knew zero information.
Basically.
Okay.
Yep.
I tried to watch Dune when it came out during the COVID times at home. Fell asleep both attempts. Not the movie's fault. I was heavily intoxicated, and it was late both times. Long film.
You just decided to throw it on, huh?
Well, I was like, let's get fired up. Like, let's party and watch Dune. But instead, it's like...
Oh.
Yeah.
A sort of snoozer, you could say.
No,
At
again,
initial?
nothing to do with the movie.
Okay.
I just...
It was not the movie's fault.
Yeah, you don't put on a 2.5-hour movie at 11 when you've been smoking since 7 and drinking since 9. You know, I'm not a young man anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not a boy. I'm not a spry little boy.
Yes.
You know, I'm a powder keg, and I burst at 11.
Yeah. No movie. Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Please, you can't sit in a bus on a bus ride longer than 10 minutes. You're liable to end up anywhere.
That's not true.
You fall asleep
anymore.
with the most any gentle motion at all, and you're snoozing. It's crazy. You're a little baby. You're a little baby deer.
I am the kind of person that does fall asleep in cars. That is correct. Yes.
Any vehicle.
As a passenger, of course.
Train, plane, you're snoozing.
Granted, I don't really drive that
Boat?
often.
You sleep on a boat?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
I've never been on a cruise, but I would imagine it would be good sleeping for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to take an Alaskan cruise.
Does it start in like Washington?
Yeah, you can start, I think, in San Francisco for more money. And then you go up the U.S. coast, which I'm sure is cool, too. But
Gorgeous, I'm sure.
I would rather fly to San Francisco a couple days early to take my cruise in Seattle and drive up the coast instead.
Yeah.
Fuck a cruise up the coast. I'm trying to get wine drunk. I'm trying to buy mushrooms. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to do along the way.
Yeah.
Trying to go find death grips in Sacramento. You won't find them.
No, they're busy.
You could buy drugs though, I bet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's a lot of people there. Anyway.
So yeah, you had no Dune backstory. Okay, great. Were you aware that David Lynch was the one who made Dune?
I found out quickly after they started promoting
Denis Dune came out.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah. I saw it in theaters.
Are
though.
you aware that David Lynch turned down directing Empire Strikes Back
No.
and then directed Dune instead?
Really?
George Lucas, after seeing Elephant Man, I believe, approached David Lynch to do Empire Strikes Back. He didn't want to direct a movie where he had to feel boxed into someone else's vision to make it cohesive with Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to do my own sci-fi epic movie. David Lynch was basically...
Did Dune in spite of...
No, I'm just saying after doing Elephant Man, he was Oscar nominated. That was like the equivalent of Lady Bird, basically, for... What's her name? It's Greta Gerwig.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like the indie darling that exploded into being an Oscar movie. So
Yeah.
That's the equivalent. And then Dune was basically him doing Barbie,
Oh, wow.
if that makes sense. He was
Yeah.
like the new hot kid.
Yeah.
But what they didn't know was Eraserhead is what he wants to do, no matter what. You know? So it didn't make sense to give him a studio thing like that. I mean, good for him. He's a very talented director, no matter what. But he's weird. He should be doing weird. So probably best for the Star Wars franchise that he didn't do that. Probably not better. Who knows if it's better for his career? It's hard to say because Dune didn't do well, but I doubt Empire Strikes Back would have been as well received if David Lynch directed it. I just have a hunch. You know?
That's a bold statement, and I kind of agree, yeah.
I don't think it's that bold because Dune was Dune. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And there's people who want to be like, you know, retroactively, it's actually pretty sick. And it just isn't. I'm sorry. That's my take on it, is that it's just pretty bad. It makes no sense. And the effects are kind of interesting because it's the 80s, so how'd they even do that? But they don't look very good. But they're not an eyesore, I guess. They're not embarrassing or comically bad, I wouldn't say, for the most part.
Did you know Toto did the music?
Yeah.
Amazing.
The music's good. Like, there's a lot of good elements. David Lynch, like I said, is a good director.
Yep.
The book is 800 pages.
Yeah.
The movie's, like, what?
2 hours?
Not even 2 hours or just over 2 hours?
Just
I was going to
over.
say, like, an hour 50. Okay, 210. 210, 215.
Yep. about.
Okay. You just can't. I mean, it took Denis 6 hours.
Yeah.
You know? And we'll get to that, but does that movie even make any fucking sense if you don't look anything up? I'd argue no to jump ahead, but
Yeah.
so David Lynch, go. What was your review? Go full in though, because you didn't know
full
what
tilt from the same position you're at. It
you didn't know what to expect.
It
though.
showed through that. Well, okay, so I went into his film now with two more movies of knowledge that I didn't have before. So I think watching it now, I thought it was pretty good, and they did inform me more than almost part one did in a way. I was tracking.
There's a lot
more.
of voiceover, right?
So the Harkonnens have a translator device in the Lynch version, so they're talking their language into this thing, and then out comes English to the.
Got it.
What are they called? I don't remember what the name of those people were, but they were like the
desert people.
No, this is when they're talking
Atreides?
to the rich people, the people that run the galaxy, basically.
The Emperor people? Yeah,
Yes,
whatever that
yes.
army is. Yeah,
So
sure.
they came to talk to them all in a different, just like in a more direct fashion. It's just that
there's just more exposition, basically.
It's hard to, like, now that I saw both of the other Dunes, it's hard to talk about this Lynch Dune without trying to reference those, but that's because there's so much happening all at once.
It's such a rich text
yeah,
that honestly, like
there's a lot going
on.
on.
The world is really dense, and look, I
multiple worlds. You know,
right,
there's just
that
so
too.
many different worlds being built. Like every time you're in a scene, it's another relationship with a different race.
Like
or
it's deeper
another
than
planet,
Lord of
you
the
know?
Rings.
It felt like
seems
it for sure.
For me.
It's like a space epic. Yeah, it's really great. It's fucking better than Star Wars. I'll say that much.
For sure.
I couldn't.
I think, but that's what I'm saying. It's more on par with Lord of the Rings. Like it is like truly dense like mythology that is rooted in a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. That you're in that's
that way
keeps
beyond
you into it for sure.
Like, now I've read the like synopsis of the way Dune goes, and it goes completely off the rails and so dense, and like we're talking like thousands of years into both the past and future. And the son eventually took over when the author passed and like wrote like 3 times as many books as that the original author even wrote.
Holy shit.
So it's beyond a regular series anymore.
Mm-hmm.
There's basically 3 books that are this story that complete the Paul Atreides
Saga.
timeline.
Yeah, okay.
And the 4th book, he's still kind of in it, but he's more of an adjacent guy from what I understand.
Got it.
But again, if you read nothing, even watching David Lynch's Dune, I feel like you go, what the fuck is happening here? It's just, I don't think it's David Lynch's fault. It's just almost impossible to portray.
He did a really good job at, if this was on behalf of his direction, like the way that they carried the beginning. I think it was better than the lead up in the part 1.
You definitely understand a lot more.
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
The context
because he does all this weird like dreamscape, but it's got so much more information when he's in the dream or when that's occurring. And it's just they had no choice but to make it more direct, I think, just because if he got more dreamy like how Lynch normally would, you would have been lost completely, if he cut out all that extra
Well, yeah,
exposition.
he does like a 2080-minute scene of a baby floating through space or something like.
Exactly. That's that could have been what it was, but there were definitely pieces of that though, more than Denis.
I also think the 80s had like too much of an influence on the movie, which doesn't help. Like, you know what I mean? Like
costuming?
That, and I just feel like I remember there being a lot of very bright, like neon style colors. Like it's very.
He wears generally like a black. Like I think when he's
I just remember there being like a lot of lasers.
When he's on Arrakis, it works out really well because he's mostly wearing that
McLaughlin was great. Also, let me say that.
That was the other thing about their acting, and I think from directing is that he was like immediately like all-knowing. Like you already knew that he was Paul Atreides was this like ultimate type of specimen,
Okay.
and you didn't really realize
they don't
that
show
in
how that occurs or anything.
not necessarily, and it almost seems like in the
like he's
new-
already the one. They're like, this guy's
Exactly.
special. He's gonna take over. It's
they
all
hint
ready
at
to
it in
go.
the first like 30 minutes, you
See,
know,
that
and they bring
needed
up
to cut
that's
that out
happening.
for time. I bet they needed to condense it down. Would be my
Exactly.
guess. Yeah.
The coming of he didn't. I mean, like
he does look significantly more mature than Chalamet for sure. Like in the first,
It seems
you know.
like more royalty, old money vibe because of their age, though. In the other one, I guess
Yeah.
no. His dad is like no. You're right. Yeah, he just looks older generally.
Yeah, I would say.
But
But they don't want Chalamet to look older.
the special effects were sick.
You know,
honestly, for what they
for
were.
the time, I
Yeah,
agree.
I had a great time.
The villain
You know what influenced-
characters are not the Harkonnen people. It doesn't work. Like any of that stuff, though. I remember just
It's
being
because
like,
of the hair. Everybody's got their own hair, like
Insane.
the 80s. It's weird.
Yeah, it's way too much. It's almost. I don't mean this in an offensive way, so it's just the first thing that comes to mind. But it's almost like Super Mario Bros. Live action.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, it's like it's
Yeah.
too silly and weird and just off-putting. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Um,
It needed to be dirtier for sure. You
Yeah.
know, like just like more decayed, you know. But I don't know.
that's the thing. It's that
But would it be though because it's that far into the future? Not necessarily.
it's supposed. I don't
think
know.
that's also
I
what's
agree.
considered.
It's too set. It's just so clearly on a set the whole time.
The sand sequences were nice though. They didn't seem
They're
like-
pretty impressive.
Yeah, they did
They're
a
pretty
really good job.
impressive.
And with the worms did a really good job. Everything just also like seemed like it was
It's just
really trying to push the boundary of what that type of action movie was, or what that kind of, because I
Right.
don't know, it had a lot of action for what the time was. I don't know if other movies compared with that amount of thrill, like about something like that, like space government and shit. you
No.
know? I think that they like the war
it
sequences
was ahead of its
were
time
very
in a weird way. For sure.
effective.
It just I don't know. You just can't cut that much of a story down into that time.
It should have been longer for sure.
It's just
and
too
wasn't that a
it's
thing? Wasn't that
complicated.
like something about a final cut? I thought that was the piece.
That's
that
the
was a big
last time
deal.
he didn't have Final Cut. His third movie. That's the only. Yeah.
Yeah, that
he
makes
never
sense.
worked. He never took another job where he didn't get Final Cut. Yeah, he has disowned the movie. He doesn't talk about it. He's taken his name off of it.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder what a director's cut length would be. You know?
He said he would never do it. He's that upset about it. But
Oh,
it would.
wow.
I mean, I bet it would be over 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying, and it would have worked.
Maybe, I don't know. Some of the acting too, it's just campy. Like I don't know.
Yeah, the love sequences were very
Yeah,
campy.
stuff like
They
that.
didn't
There's
work.
parts of it that just straight up don't work,
Yep.
and that's okay.
Yep.
You know, his batting average is still insane. He's one of the best directors who's ever lived. It's fine. You can make one bad movie. I don't know. People need to stop acting like it's this devastating thing that he has one bad movie. Who cares? It just didn't work.
I kind of liked it. Either way.
I think. Well, let's move on. I think that it doesn't compare to Denis in any way remotely. That those movies are fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say. I knew all the backstory from having seen Lynch's Dune.
Mm-hmm.
So I had because I was confused while watching Lynch's Dune, I have read through it because I needed to get the info. I needed to be like, make sense of what I just watched. So I already knew the backstory. So watching the way Denis does it with so much less exposition, almost all visuals, you know what I mean? Like as little straight in your face explanation of what's going on and who's who as possible. I think it was technically confusing as shit.
Yeah.
And the second one, I think, was less confusing. But again, it's hard to say without knowing. I think if you go into Dune 1 with zero information, I think you probably miss what the movie's about, frankly. But having the backstory, I think they fucking nailed it. So it's kind of weird. It's very unique in that way. But it's too dense. It's just too dense. There's no way to do it without you needing to read something or them to spit it in your face, which, if you spit it in my face, it's a bad movie. Exposition sucks. and they didn't do it, and it's great, but it makes no sense. So I don't know how I feel.
I wonder if,
And
in a way,
and I will say, sorry, the first movie technically, it's somehow very good, and I don't know why really, because it somehow is completely all set up, but they don't explain anything, so it's not really about anything, and not that much action-wise, or even the plot hasn't really gone that far yet. But it's still good, but I don't really know why, because not really that much goes on overall, technically. It's very weird, but it's gorgeous, and I somehow completely understand it, but it makes no sense. And not that much happens, but a ton goes on, but it's all a setup. Again, like, it's weird. So, go ahead.
He gets just handed off like that. I
Well, do you
I
agree?
loved it.
Do you
I loved
disagree?
it.
Like, the first one, like...
It took several rewatches. I did not get it the first time. I'm gonna say that
And,
much.
well, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. Let's step out of Dune for 1 second. Denis, amazing.
I don't. Is that
I fucking love this guy. Arrival notwithstanding, I don't get Arrival at all. I think that movie sucked. But he did a great job directing, but that movie sucked. But he's incredible. I haven't seen all of his movies. I won't see the ones that aren't in English. Pull up the list, Justice.
Yeah, you got it, dude.
Read them. I didn't see the Gyllenhaal one where he plays a clone of himself, but that's supposed to be good.
I also didn't see Arrival. Enemy.
Arrival sucked. Yeah, Enemy. I haven't seen Enemy.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I sadly still haven't seen Sicario, which is a crime. I know. I apologize. I think I turned it on once and fell asleep again.
Prisoners.
Prisoners
Also
is great.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Prisoners is great.
What was the one you just said?
Arrival.
Sicario.
Yeah, that's about like cartel shit.
This is a Incendies.
Yeah, his first
That's
few
a
movies.
French film.
Yeah, he's from Quebec or something. So
Blade Runner. I've seen Blade Runner.
Well, Blade Runner is a masterpiece. I love that movie.
Again, not a ton of exposition.
But
it's all there.
I think Blade Runner 2049 is probably one of the best movies of the century.
I
love that. I think it's a complete masterpiece and somehow underrated.
I love it.
It's so good. It's perfect.
But yeah, the thing about the first one is that you get really invested. Part one, you get really invested in, I think, Paul. Just Paul. You're not. All the other characters they're very much falling by the wayside so quickly that you don't have time to care about them. Like, there's such a little happening most of the time.
Yeah.
That by the end you're just like, God, I just want this Paul guy to like fucking live. And you don't even really know. Nobody really says his name that often.
They're still introducing people like an hour and a half into the movie because there's so many fucking characters. It's just really hard.
Yeah, but I just like this part. I don't want to skip too far ahead, I guess, because we're not really talking specifically about 2. But like 2, you are invested in different people throughout that whole film too. You don't really care. You're caring about Paul the whole time, but like not as much as what you're thinking about these other people's.
The biggest
lives are.
That's true. And the other thing that I can say about 1 that's not nearly as much of a nitpick is truly a compliment. They really are part 1 and 2. Like, if you watch those in succession, it is one movie, like 100%.
Yes.
It's not
so nice.
It's not Harry Potter 7 Part 1 and Harry Potter 7 Part 2, where we're just going to make $1 billion off you fucking losers and break it up into 2 for the fuck of it. You know, it's not a marketing ploy. It's a 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
And like, even Back to the Future, like, you know, the part 2 isn't a part 2. They're all different movies. Now, that wasn't intentional, though. They wanted to just make them link together, and that's all fun. But you know what I mean? This is like as true of a literal, like, this is just 2 parts of one movie that I've ever seen. It's one amazing, complete vision. Like, the biggest one since Lord of the Rings. I can't think of anything that remotely compares. Like, he did his own Lord of the Rings. It's impressive. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
And without filming them back to back, he had to film them one at a time.
That's beautiful.
The level of cohesion that the two movies have while being done separately is unbelievable. Like, he's a master.
Yeah, yeah.
Love Denis. I'll suck this dude's dick, dude. Like, bust
Oh
it
my
out,
God.
Denis. You're French. You probably get down.
Jesus Christ.
He'll show me some French cuisine. You know what I'm saying? I'll gobble those
No.
balls up.
Oh no.
I love him. He's so fucking good. He's everything Christopher Nolan wishes he was. Like, this guy's the big time fucking guy. He's got it.
I think it's interesting how movies like that get released out of festival season, so I feel like they're not, they don't compete with them. They're just like it's weird.
This could, right. Like, this should be in those circuits, like, clamoring attention.
Do you think that it would be at the end of the year, or so many movies will come out that it won't be in the standing? I think that I don't remember when the first Dune came out.
no matter what technical awards, it's gonna be up for all of those. In terms like it'll be in full contention. I mean, it'll probably be nominated for Best Picture and Director. He probably will be out of contention, yeah, based on when it's released. But
That's what I'm saying.
But the other awards it won't affect.
Oh, it's
Like sound and score and anything like that it would be up for. Production design. Those you don't need to be you don't need to have recency bias to be a factor to win those.
damn
Technical achievements just shine through no matter what.
right.
Yeah, it is a weird release time. I don't know why it came out now.
Oh, I guess I was only saying that because you were like,
I
he
think
wishes
either
that
way
he
it
was
should-
everything Christopher Nolan.
Like, it should have at least came out in like July. I don't know why it's out so early. Yeah, it's very strange.
They say, get it the fuck out. Let's do this.
But that's not how movie releases work.
Yeah.
They're strategic, so it seems odd. I mean, it's making a fuck ton of money either way.
Yeah.
Going to the movies is basically back.
Yeah.
Like, which is
100%.
great. Like, we're not 100% for sure, but we're getting there. Movies are doing all right now. I'm less pessimistic. Like, honestly, this is part of the reason why. That was fucking sick.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're still on part 1.
Because you had to have seen it. Even then, like, I feel
I
like.
didn't see it in theaters, and that was a mistake.
Oh. I guess I just have often
Like I said,
gone to the movies.
Technically, the first time I saw Dune Part 1 was like 2 weeks ago to prepare for Dune 2 because I didn't.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it at home the first couple times and then I just gave up till now because it's like
Well,
either way I'm just watching it at home, so I might as well wait till it's close to the second one.
yeah.
So that's what I did. I'll admit it. But I wish I would have seen it in theaters. Incredible experience.
Yeah.
But I will say, so it's like it's kind of unclear like who Jason Momoa's character is. Like, it's clear that they have like a fun mentor relationship. But you just have to either read the backstory or guess or not care. Those are your options because they don't paint a clear picture. They don't paint a clear picture of what the houses are or represent. Like, what are these armies are like in relation to each other? Why are they taking over this planet? It's not clear. That the Emperor is setting them up. It's not clear what the Emperor is. What is their government system? Why is there an Emperor if they have their own planet? Right? None of this is explained in any way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You have to just run with it or be confused or read.
Yeah.
It's strange.
And that's also like if they did a similar thing like they did in the Lynch version, it would have worked in the first one. I think it would have looked good. It would have been cool. They had like a layout of all the planets and the houses underneath. It was just like simple.
Yeah, but it
as like a transmission
it
or something.
interferes with the tone. There's just like no exposition.
It could have been on like an
The
LED
only time
hub
there's
on a ship or
exposition-
something.
The only time there's exposition in these movies is when it's regarding like the Emperor people are giving like explicit orders about something.
Yeah.
And that's it. Or like when the psychic ladies talk. And then that's the other thing. You're supposed to know, oh, these are just the psychic ladies and they just do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what's going on? And then the other people are bald gargoyle guys, and the fat guy is fat. How's he fat?
How do you get that way?
It's like, oh, that's where Jabba the Hutt clearly came from also, like,
yeah.
first thing I thought of. And, like, they have ships,
Just like
but they
bathing
don't
in
have
oil.
they have ships, but they don't have technology because technology's banned, but they don't really explain that either. That's just part of the lore. And they have guns, but they don't really use them, and that doesn't really make any sense.
Because ammo is...
I don't think that's why. I don't
Short?
know. I think it's about honor or something. But then they use bombs, and they mine. And why do they need interplanetary travel? And why is spice also a drug? Nobody really seems to be, like, fiending for the drug. That's confusing to me. Why does it need to be gas and drugs? But also, like, nobody's, like, a fiend, which you would think would be a problem. Like,
I think it is a
almost
thing on other
Bioshock.
planets, right? I think it is across the planet.
I got it. Because they're on Arrakis, everybody's just high, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I guess that makes sense. So you would see it, let's say, on Harkonnen. There's
like
spice
addicts.
fiends.
Yes, I would assume that there is.
And they're bringing spice in mafia style to pyramid scheme it down. Okay, I got it.
Isn't that, yeah.
So the Harkonnen...
It's trade. It's also a resource. It's like, what?
The Harkonnen are Avon Barksdale and Idris Elba. What's his name? Stringer Bell.
From
The Wire.
From The Wire? Yeah, kind of.
Like, they run the projects, basically.
No, I think that they come from wealth, and they might run the projects of their planet, but,
But that...
they're
right,
supposed to
I
be
see
like
what
the
you're
wealthy.
saying. Right.
They're
Well, so is Avon Barksdale, technically.
Is he a high-status person in society, too, then?
No. Well, that's the difference.
That's what they also are, though. The Harkonnens
he's
are.
the 1% of the hood, but that's it.
I don't know.
Stringer Bell strives for that grade. Anyway, it's not a great equivalent. It was more of a joke. It's fine.
Yeah, I got you. I don't understand exactly how wealthy the Harkonnen planet is supposed to be, but it's all dark and weird and like...
That's the thing. They're just evil. They just
Yeah,
thrive on murder.
medieval
They
or
just want to
something.
take over. Yeah, it's like weird.
So I assume that there's addicts there on spice for sure that they're selling to.
Right.
Or they use it as a drug there and for trade.
And okay, but here's the thing. It's not immediately clear. Listen, okay, this is what's weird. So technically what happens is the House of Atreides is assigned... What's the planet? Arrakis, to be the head family that heads spice production.
They're to be in charge, yeah.
And the Harkonnens are removed.
But the Harkonnens don't want to leave, I'm pretty sure.
No, incorrect. This is what's weird about it. The Harkonnens don't want to leave, but it's a backdoor deal where the Harkonnens just act like they don't want to leave, and then they attack under support of the Emperor because they just want House of Atreides to fall, but they want it to seem like a natural conflict.
Yeah.
Like the Emperor wasn't involved. When it's also just like, just tell them to go attack their planet.
Right.
But it's a weird, like, CIA setup of war. Like, they need to do the false flag.
Right.
It is a classic, like, military tactic. That's not really that clearly explained, though. And it just seems like, oh, they're just attacking them soon after they set up. Like, it just kind of seems like, oh, they left.
Haha, just kidding.
We're back. Yeah, that part's kind of silly. But all of the sequences, I mean, they're unbelievable. Every single giant moment feels big.
Reverse. Every single small moment feels big.
That is also true. Like,
it's very intense.
The emotional weight in the movies are unbelievable without very much being said. Again, it's just
beautiful.
It's a testament to the direction and to the performances. Like, Chalamet's a fucking stud. The kid's got it.
Yeah. He's very much like...
You can see him
a little
struggle.
naive, but also very intelligent. That the entire first part, like
in the entire first part, it is clearly communicated that he is unsure if he is ready for the weight of taking on the throne of a planet, but clearly is intelligent enough to admit that, one, continue to train, and be like, he is dedicated to something. He is just unsure if he's ready.
Well, there's also that entire thing, and then losing his father, which I don't think that he was like that. Like, that didn't need to happen,
Well, he didn't know that was It finally became real to him that was a realistic thing because he saw how powerful his father was, and just didn't think he could live up to it. Basically,
Right.
Or if he wanted to have to live up to that,
Right.
because it's a lot to live up to. Honorable guy. And he dies in honor. Like, literally takes himself out to take out his enemies. Fucking power move the whole way.
Yeah, that was a baller move. That was amazing.
Yeah, great stuff. Also,
there's nothing like seeing a fat guy fly to the ceiling.
Yeah, right. It's unclear, though, that those guys are traitors, the guys that do betray him, but then he helps him out by giving him the poison pill. So it's weird, because, like, the guy double-crossed him, but then still helped him out. The doctor guy.
Yeah, is this also...
It's unclear who's friends and who's enemies, because they're not saying enough, but again, it just all fits together and you figure it out. I don't know.
Well, doesn't that add to your honor theory about the guns? Like, maybe they're just admirable friends, so even though he's just getting paid out of the deal and not to die.
Right,
like,
he still is truly that guy's friend.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting fucked over anyway. Like, they're after him to kill him, so it's not exactly like he should be on their side still or anything. Yeah, it does add up. That's what I'm saying. Like, the movie presents the opportunity to poke holes in it because it's just unclear at the exact time.
Right.
You know, as you're watching it, you go like, wait, what? Constantly. But once you familiarize yourself with the story, again, it nails it 100%. And Batista's great. The guy just keeps finding roles to be a ugly alien guy who screams a lot.
Dude.
And it's convincing performances every time.
Dude,
you know?
I've seen that that transformation online, like
his makeup.
To get into that makeup. Yeah, it's like very impressive. Like,
probably
he
4 hours.
Crushed it. I'm sure, at least, you know.
Yeah.
It's like multiple layers of like suiting and then like makeup over latex over more makeup. It's like insane because he's like almost translucent in a way. He's like so white. He's and gross.
Yeah,
it's
he
so
literally
gross.
is milk. It's weird.
But no, like watered down milk. It's gross.
He's like jizz.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
He's very jizzy.
They all kind of have that weird white, you know?
Yeah.
That weird jizz white.
Yeah. They sure do. And then, so he then goes to pursue his father's goal as one of the only people who escapes. They literally murder the entire army outside of like 7 dudes.
Yeah.
And
who end up becoming raiders and then Paul.
Well, yeah, also because they just completely sneak attacked them somehow. I don't know. And they hacked their system and whatever. But the psychic ladies somehow didn't know or whatever. It's a little strange. It's all a little unclear. But whatever. It all makes sense. And then Paul's father's goal was to befriend the people on the planet so they could eventually like stop all this dumb bullshit, which makes sense. And it also makes sense as to why the Emperor wanted to take him out, is because he basically wanted to unify people instead of continue suppressing people and oppressing.
Right. Well, we don't find that out in the first one at all.
No, the dad says that was the goal.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, they had a plan set for when they became the ruler of Arrakis. They're like, we're going to befriend these people. That's why Javier Bardem interviews with them, remember?
Yeah,
and he tells them straight to his face. He's like, yeah, we're not here to like kill you guys anymore.
Yeah. I do remember. Yeah, I absolutely remember that.
So that's why that becomes Chalamet's goal, which in turn was the psychic lady's prophecy that they had done the whole time. So that, I guess they technically did know that they were going to be attacked, but it just aligns with their prophecy that they had written, so they have to let all of this happen.
Yeah, okay.
War is a part of the overall prophecy, no matter what.
Oh, I don't think all of the prophecy was given to Paul, though, right? He doesn't know of all of the prophecy, or he does.
I don't think yet at that time because
Exactly.
it's the prophecy of Arrakis.
Oh, it's not only is it a prophecy, it's also happening to him, and he's been informed up until that point
correct.
that there was going to be a war and that he was going to be the ruler of Arrakis at some point.
He finds out. No, he finds out in the first movie because that's when he has the knife fight with that guy. So he knows at that point already. He finds out when he does the finger, not the finger thing. Fuck. God damn it. Is it when he does the finger thing? No.
What's the finger thing?
Remember when you put your finger in the box? But that's at the beginning
Hand.
of the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That's completely different.
Yeah.
Or is that at the beginning?
That when that happens to him in Dune Part 1, he doesn't have visions.
When does he learn that his mom has a Harkonnen, like fuck the Harkonnen dude, and that's who he has a kid with?
It's not until Part 2, I think.
No, doesn't he find that out in the first one? Oh, you might be right.
I think it's Part 2.
Okay, never mind. Well, at some point in the first one, he does find it all out because they're already talking about him being Muad'Dib right after he wins that battle.
Oh, that's true.
At the end of the first one,
even if they're revealing that information, though, they don't go
all in
yeah,
with
yeah.
it. But he knows, is what I'm saying.
That there is a prophecy.
At that point, the character at that, it's not explicitly shown, but he knows it all at that point.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely.
No, because
then his visions become more and more consistent as he keeps, like,
I would say more and more clear.
Spice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he eventually can see, like, so far into the future that it's insane, and he can, like, predict everything that will happen at all times.
That's what I'm assuming.
Which I think is how it gets to by the end. That's what happens at the end of the second one. Let's just jump to the second one.
Yeah, because I
Dune
think
Part 1's all build up to
technically-
this. We just saw this second one, and this is really the highlight of everything. This movie was fucking awesome.
Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2 was fucking awesome.
Top tier movie.
I want to go see it again.
I will see it again.
It was awesome.
At Regal.
Yeah, for $7. Shout out Tuesdays. Requiem for a Tuesday. Let's go, baby.
True.
Go see it tonight after you listen to this. It's $7 at Regal. Just the one by my house, though. Check your local listings.
Yeah. Terms and conditions apply.
How do you start? I mean, what a fucking banger, in and out. Okay,
Dune Part
actually,
2.
Here's my hot take from this, actually, first of all. The performance was great, don't get me wrong, but what is up with Zendaya? Why do people care this much?
I don't know.
She looks like a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I don't know. She did good. She's
good. Fine, but solid frown, consistent frown.
That's what they like, right?
I don't know. I just feel like she looks too young for anybody to be interested in what she's doing.
She's like does fashion, I think. She's a fashion
She's
icon.
like a big star. No, she's like a big star in every way. Like music, movies.
She does music?
I think so, right?
Oh, I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I kind of, yeah.
It's weird to me that someone with such childlike features is so popular with men.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get it. Why are we doing this?
I don't know.
Like, I was like, Chalamet, like, check her ID. You know what I mean? You're just kissing this broad?
Yeah. Well, he also is boyish, so.
I don't know. He manned up.
You think so?
Paul grew up in Dune 2.
I think so, too, a little bit.
He's so clearly mature. Listen, okay.
Well, he becomes all-knowing, as we just touched upon.
Yeah, which
that's
helps.
part of the age.
It helps the confidence,
Yeah,
I would say,
yeah.
when you know everything that's going to happen.
Yeah, that whole sequence when he's revealing his knowledge, I was like, is this guy going to be a communist leader?
When he big dogs that room,
yeah.
I'm like, my fucking guy. Like, Jesus in the flesh. Like, he goes full
Basically,
Kanye in that room.
Yes, he did.
He goes, I'm a god. It's unbelievable.
He does. He
Kanye's that room.
It was.
He said, I'm fucking Jesus Christ. I'm here. Come for me, bitch. And they said, oh, no, I will not. I'll bow.
Yeah.
You are him.
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
I believed it.
That was the
I said, Chalamet, put him on the cross.
I wonder if this is what will make 2 more full movies. So
One
more movie.
He's doing one.
I'm
it leads me to
curious
believe-
how much of a crazed leader he might become.
I mean, I know what happened. I know what happens in Dune Messiah.
Don't ruin it.
Okay. The books are out there. I mean, you're technically supposed to be judging. Like, the story's not a secret, is what I'm saying. Like,
Oh,
you know, like,
does he? Does he become like a dictator or what?
I don't want to spoil it.
Oh,
now.
come
Now that you
on.
said it.
Is it?
Well, let's get there. We'll get there. I'll do
Okay,
it at
okay,
the
we
end.
can start
I'll do it
because
at
that
the
was
end.
like
I
was
don't
like
want people to stop listening to the episode.
of the episode.
Yeah. We'll get there. We got to finish Dune 2. So, yeah, I was fucking hype. Okay?
I was too.
I was convinced.
You seen that guy with the 2 back rollers on the garbage can lid that was like a worm in the movie theater?
No.
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, I'll send it to you after this.
Okay. Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
He was on like a hoverboard or something.
Right.
Yeah, that was embarrassing, frankly.
Hilarious.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think shit like that is cringe.
Anyway,
Get a life.
it was very hyped.
Cool. Like, you looked like a bunch of people in a movie theater were like, whoa. You spent money and time and invested into that. And it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I get it. Like a backpack is enough, or like a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. That's the level of commitment you should have to going to a movie theater. You're not at the premiere. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're at AMC on a Wednesday. Like, chill. I don't like it. Sorry. I'm a bubble burster. I see a parade, I fucking rain on it. Pussy. Do something, bitch. All right.
But yeah, people were really hyped for this movie. I was really hyped for this movie.
It was amazing.
Bigger than the first one, for
Denis
sure.
is amazing. He is so talented. Again,
Yeah.
I just don't like Arrival. That's it. That's my only thing.
Haven't seen it.
I don't like it.
I have had no interest.
It's
so
pretty
maybe.
gay.
You think I might like it?
Yeah, you'd probably cry. Because it's about aliens, but like non-violently, and they just like talk. It's like, it's weird. I
Oh.
don't like it at all. I didn't get it.
Got it.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Go watch it.
Arrival.
Amy Adams, too. I love Amy Adams.
Me too.
Well, check it out.
Oh.
It's Denis also.
Hey, there we go.
Anyway. Lots of other great moments. Okay, Austin Butler was fantastic also. Let's just get
As a
that out.
Harkonnen, that was crazy.
He was fucking awesome.
I was so into it.
The black and white scenes where he's just gutting motherfuckers.
Dude, that stadium was insane.
This movie
Insane.
is fucking incredible.
He did a fabulous job. He looked so good fighting. It was wild.
Dude. I just listen. There's no scene that I can talk about where I'm not in. Except I will say Christopher Walken sucked.
Yeah, I think you were supposed to hate him.
No, but he was weak. He's supposed to be the emperor of these giant war-based planets,
Right.
where everybody's an evil monster with massive armies vying for drugs and gasoline, and he's a weak old man who seems uncertain of everything. It's like, well, why did he try to kill? I guess that's why, because Atreides was about to like expose his weakness. But why would Harkonnen bow to them? Just because they're stupid? That's it? We're just supposed to believe that because they're dumb, they don't realize they can just kill this guy?
Yeah.
That's what's confusing. The Emperor's supposed to be maybe smart, sure, but powerful. That guy was made out of dust. You kick him in the shin, he's dead. Not even hurt, you know?
I think that
He didn't have any command over anything.
that's why
That was bad casting.
all that
It
corrupt-
wasn't bad casting. They didn't give Walken what he needed, or I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
That guy had no charisma.
I think he was supposed to be that frail.
That makes no sense to me. Again, I don't know the source material either.
But I just feel like that's why everything is as bad as it is because the people in charge are just lazy, and old and frail. And
Right.
And that's why they're
And they're worried about all their dumb
shit.
political, personal shit,
So they're killing off people that
including
could be good.
the clairvoyant one too.
Right.
Not his daughter, but the other one, like the madam, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what else didn't make any sense, and I didn't even read into it. Still doesn't make sense. They're just like, they go from being like, oh, we don't accept you, right? Then Chalamet proves it by winning that fight, and then
riding a worm.
and doing all the stuff. I get all that. So he proves himself. That's one thing. But then the second he proves himself, they're also like, okay, now your mom is going to be the mom to all of our planet immediately.
Yeah.
Even though we know that she's a witch.
Yeah. And everybody's talking about it. It's like
And they hate her and are afraid of her.
Right.
And they're immediately like, actually, no, you'll be the president mom of the world. And then she immediately is like, great, I'm going to begin spreading propaganda.
Right.
That to me all happened very quickly and I didn't buy it. That's my big gripe of the whole thing.
I wonder how much time was supposed to have passed.
Yes. That's my
Because it seems like it happened in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and
they're like,
that's a lot.
They're like, actually, half of us don't buy into you and we don't trust you. Then he rides a
one-
worm and they're like, actually, you now get to tell everybody what we do. Like, you're in charge of everything, actually.
Because that was part of the prophecy coming.
But the
to
mom
life.
part still doesn't make sense. I get that she did the water of life and survived and the baby thing,
Yeah.
but that instantly, I guess when you're crazy religious, that's how it works, though.
Well, no, that water, the water of life was poison in a way.
No, literally was poison.
Right.
She's supposed to die, and the fact that she didn't is why. But they know she's a witch.
Yeah.
They don't know that she wrote the prophecy.
But they do know she's a witch.
Correct. So that's why it's like you should still be skeptical. But I guess when there's a prophecy, you just follow it. So that's ultimately the excuse. But yeah, the timing just didn't work. Didn't work.
That's
my
crazy
big critique.
excuse.
It has to be it, though, right? What else would it be?
That just because there's a prophecy, you got to follow it? That's crazy. That's
Zendaya's argument.
Yeah.
Is that, hey, guys,
Yep.
can we look at reality here?
Yeah.
Like, can we
And
know?
which one is true in this case? Because it kind of seems like the prophecy's true, dog.
But she wrote the prophecy.
Right.
That is fake. It is fake.
Well,
And then they're making it happen. It's basically it's the argument
no,
of
but
like
what is
the
the
construction
prophecy-
of the world.
even the prophecy that
The
guy...
prophecy is that someone from another planet will come and lead us to safety.
That's always been the prophecy before she wrote it, or even she wrote that.
No, there's no prophecy. Prophecies aren't real. They're
Oh,
written by somebody, no matter what. Somebody wrote it.
I didn't realize that she
Well,
wrote
a
it.
prophecy just comes out of the air, like, hey, we discovered a bunch. Like, somebody
So-
wrote it.
So that...
Not literally his mom wrote it.
Oh,
but
the
they're,
witches did. I understand.
yes, for lack of knowing what they're called, we
What-
keep calling them the witches. But yes,
What are
we
they
know
called
we're
again?
using no real terminology here, and that's
the
fine.
benedictionaries. Or
Yeah,
something.
the Webster's dictionaries.
Of Arrakis.
They're not of Arrakis.
I know.
I don't know where they're from technically.
Everywhere.
They're from the Emperor planet only.
They're Harkonnen, right?
No,
Damn.
because she's a Atreides.
Yeah, right.
It makes no sense.
But she's also part of her.
Well, she
Harkonnen.
fucked a Harkonnen, so I don't know where she's from. But yes, they're everywhere.
Oh my god.
It doesn't make. I don't know.
I thought she was part of Harkonnen.
Well, she fucked Harkonnen, so their
Yeah.
family is now part Harkonnen.
I get it. Yeah.
Or
He
her
is
mom.
part-
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. It doesn't matter.
She fucked
What
them.
matters is that he's Jesus or Muhammad, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the chosen one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the prophecy was written by the dictionary ladies. And so but they all know the whole story and they're all aware that they wrote it.
Yeah.
All of the women.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
So she then, when she becomes the mother lady of the whole thing, knows that her son is now technically fulfilling the prophecy that they wrote. So she spreads more propaganda of it. That's why when she goes south for her protection, she also goes to all the religious people and tells them of what's happening in the north.
Yeah.
And that's why he's mad at her.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that he's upset about it and that it's propaganda. That much I know.
Right.
I did not know that the original prophecy was written by them as well because
There's only one. Why do you say original like there's a second one, though? There's no second one. There's one prophecy.
yeah, right. The OG
It's
one.
always the same prophecy. Yeah.
Well, I think it's been changed. They keep developing it to tell the people. That's the thing.
No, that's not what a prophecy is.
They don't have new headlines in their tablets. Like
No. So obviously what they express is that Javier Bardem has believed it multiple times because their planet is constantly being invaded for mining.
yes.
So there have been a ton of false prophets
Got it.
constantly.
Yes.
So that's why there's a ton of skeptics.
And because they've been building the ultimate superhuman, which is Paul, they can continue to further their prophecy for this one.
No. What
Yeah.
are you talking about? No. I
What?
Paul was a mistake, technically. She was supposed to have a daughter. They talk about that too.
I know that, but they've also
They
been.
didn't build Paul as a superhuman. Like, what?
That's what those kids are if they're from the Benedictionary.
Yeah, but they didn't like construct him to be
No, I know
the
that.
prophet.
But they do talk of like them being like more powerful than normal people because they're
Well, they're
from-
witches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But the witches are already more powerful. Yeah, so of course.
Yeah. But because he's a boy, he's like the super weapon, because he's a boy. That's part of the Dune lore that I learned as well. They talked about it a little bit more in the beginning.
That it doesn't actually make him weaker, it makes him stronger.
No, it makes him way more powerful. Like when he puts the hand in the
so
box,
basically-
his threshold was higher than anybody ever before, ever.
Right.
And that was the thing. Like,
so women are basically still dumb in Dune universe. That they think they need to make more women, but really the guys are still better.
well, the girls, I think, just maintain control of other planets.
All the guys,
and
they're
kings,
running
so
the
that's
whole,
why
they're
they
running
want
the whole
women.
show. Is the
Yes,
is what
that's-
is happening.
So no, they are more powerful even
Well,
still.
right.
But for Paul's case,
But if
because
they had
don't
more-
have any boys,
If they had more boys, then they wouldn't be, right?
Yes,
so it is
exactly.
Smart. Right, I see.
she made that happen too. You have the choice as a witch to have a boy or a girl.
Well, so then maybe it was the mom. Maybe the whole thing is that the mom's plan the whole time was for him to bleed the prophecy.
yes, I think so.
She constructed the whole thing to
Right.
begin with.
She's been
I don't
close
know.
to
Whatever.
I think
It doesn't
she's been close
matter
to
if
it for a
that's
long
true or
time
not. I guess.
because
but
she's been fucking Harkonnens,
yeah, all of that was unclear.
Yeah, that's true.
The ending fight with him and Austin Butler was amazing.
Oh
in
my
silence.
god!
I was on the edge of my seat.
I was
It was riveting.
breathing very quietly, like so
I
quiet.
was holding my breath, I think, for
Yeah.
a part of it.
because he's an excellent fighter. The whole time
Butler
you're like
or Chalamet?
Butler, you're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, is he gonna beat him? And you're like, nah, he's the chosen one.
I mean, he did. He stabbed him good. It was,
I know.
It was close.
yes.
I appreciate that it was close, and that he didn't just go full Jesus. Although he did get stabbed in the hand,
Yeah.
right through the hand.
Yeah.
Like incredible religious. All of the
Ignorant-
imagery and
Yeah.
shit just through this is brilliant. And like I said, it's just so rich and dense. And there's so much religious undertone and
Yeah.
government undertone, CIA shit.
Yep.
Like it's all there somehow. While this bitch behind us when we were leaving the theater, I heard her. She was like, that was confusing. She's like, they didn't tell us what happened. And I'm like, yeah, you're the Denis an artist and you wanted Chris Nolan.
The thing about the second one too is that it really brought to light some of the things from the first one without even needing to call
you
it back.
need them both. That's what
Without
I'm saying.
even that is why it is one full movie technically, because like everything, like I wish that I saw them in tandem a little bit more, like a little bit closer.
I'm pretty sure Denis was, I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he was very pro Twin Peaks The Return, which David Lynch calls an 18-hour movie, which
Mhm.
it isn't. It's a show. Those are episodes. They're way disjointed. But
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? But he, I think, is that
That's in between.
cinematic. Like he understands cinema in that fashion. Like
Yes.
you can be this big in scope.
Yeah.
And he could pull it off. He could have made more. It could be 4. But I want him to nail it. So I hope it is just one more movie.
You think it would be like another movie, 3 parts?
No, because he's not Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson went too far.
Yeah.
By
It looks great. He doesn't need to do anything else.
But that's
for
what he
that.
tried to do. He tried to make Hobbit 3 movies. Hobbit's 1 book.
Yep.
Why is that 3 movies? Now, I like the Hobbit movies. We've talked about it on this show.
They're great.
Go listen to those episodes, too. They were fun.
I'll have to call. I haven't listened to him back.
Oh, I did the Lord
In
of the
a minute.
Rings trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy back to back, I think it was. And then I did an official ranking of all 6 movies.
Yeah. Great time.
Hobbit was high.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I think it was like 2 Towers 1, Hobbit 1, 2.
Nice.
I love Hobbit 1.
Did you ever do the Lord of the Rings series? The Amazon series?
No, fuck that. Don't care.
I couldn't get through it. It was so long.
Right. That's the thing. It's just
So
too
much.
It's
So
too
much.
much. Return of the King was surprisingly very low on the list. That movie was really disappointing for me.
Yeah, it's on a lot. I feel like on like cable right now.
It was just like, why are there so many endings and the ghosts? Don't get me started on the ghosts. I hated that. Dune doesn't have that. Dune doesn't have the dumb ghost savior ending. Dune is bleak.
I just gotta
That's the
say,
thing.
the
Dune-
biggest thing is
Dune is about hope and disappointment. There isn't a happy ending in Dune. This is a truly like, it's
mesmerizing.
great. I love
the
this
misery is
shit.
mesmerizing.
It's fucking incredible stuff about. It's great. This shit rules. Frank Herbert, you're the man for writing this. I don't know anything about you. I don't care.
I heard it
This is
was.
the thing. Great art's great art. This shit rips.
I was gonna say I gotta call out the fucking worms. The scenes for the new.
I love
part
that they
2.
basically don't reveal them in the whole first part.
It was
just the mouths show up in the
incredible.
first part. You just get the idea of the power of what they have.
Because he brings such a large one, and you're like, holy shit.
And
dude.
at the end, yeah.
That was so impressive, that whole thing.
And then they're just all over the place in
That
the
was
second
the
movie.
lamest part about the Lynch version was the fucking worms, because they were like, he would climb on it like it was like a plateau, standing still, putting his stakes in, and then he stood up and rode it, and it was like, it
Yeah.
didn't make sense because he's moving the whole time. You don't even see them get on the worms in part 2, like for most of it, you know?
Right.
Or
They just
get
show
off
you
of
how
them.
to do it, and then now
That's
you
it.
get it. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Let's
it worked
travel.
so well. They're so big. Well, that one was so big.
Fucking awesome.
And the fits just got better.
Dude.
They didn't even like. I just like.
The music got better. The cinematography's better. The spaceships are better. The action was better. The effects were better. And they were all great in the first one. Everything was better. Like, it was so good.
The whole thing where they were trying to hide from those people underneath the rocks or whatever, I thought was kind of, that was like,
Which part?
I don't remember exactly what happened before,
Okay.
but they were like hiding from guards underneath like a slab of rock, like a cave kind of, and it was very apparent that they were going to get caught, but they didn't or something. I can't remember.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was at the beginning of it.
I thought it was dumb that what's his name just came back.
Yeah, that also happens in the original too.
What's his name? No, the actor though. Who am I thinking of? Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
like, oh, he's just back.
Well, no, he escaped. He was one of the few people that did escape.
Did they show him escape in the first one?
I
though?
don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it was implied that he died, and then he's just gone for so long. I don't care that he's back because he wasn't there enough to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it wasn't, there was no payoff when he came back. I could care less. It would have been better if it was Momoa, who did clearly die.
Who did
though.
very much
yeah,
die on
very
screen.
much
yeah.
die on screen.
Yeah.
But that would be
Well,
more
that's why.
impactful. But I know, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Though
Yeah.
that's the character that has more impact.
Yeah.
They should have had a tighter relationship in the first part. I guess is what I'm saying.
I think that yeah, but it was a good bonding moment. You know, you finally saw some Atreides with
Now,
each other.
Watching them take out the mining devices, electric.
Yeah.
Electric.
Absolutely.
Everything in this movie was electric for the most part. Like, we have all these little nitpicks that we're saying, but like all of the set piece stuff,
Beautiful.
the big sequences, they're fucking flawless, man.
Yeah.
And he has like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fucking movie, dude. What an event. Like, truly, that was breathtaking. And they were out there in the desert doing that shit.
Beautiful.
Unreal.
Yeah, seriously. How'd they do that?
The desert
They got a behind the scenes or what?
is dry out there, bro.
That's what I'm saying. How'd they do that?
You got to build a lot of facilities with air conditioning and electricity.
Jesus.
A lot of generators, I imagine, running.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Somebody's managing all that power at once.
Yeah, well, you don't need lighting.
Yeah, that's true.
Save a lot on that.
Probably solar for the lighting at night, right? They take it all day.
Are there even that many night scenes? Just battle stuff, really.
I just mean like on set, behind the scenes.
Maybe they just don't film that much at night, though. It gets really cold. I don't know if you can even be out there.
In the desert, it gets that cold? I had no idea.
You don't know about deserts? Yeah, deserts are all about extremes. It's not that it's hot. It's that at night it gets like freezing.
I guess I knew that. I
Because
didn't know it was
there's
that
just
cold.
no I don't know the reason. There's no environment, though. So it's barren nothingness. I don't fucking know.
Like that?
I'm no scientist.
Windy shit.
Who am I, Tom Skilling?
Didn't he just retire?
He did.
Man, get him on here.
Yeah, that would be great.
What do you think about Dune, Mr. Tom?
So,
Skilling.
yeah, Dune Part 1, give me a rating out of 10. Give me David
Dunes?
Lynch's Dune out of 10.
6.
Yeah, that's high.
I liked it.
Say like 4.5.
Damn.
All right, Dune Part 1 out of 10.
8. 8.5.
Also high. 7, 7.5 max.
Yeah.
All right, Dune Part 2 out of 10.
9.5.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I do halves?
I'll do 9.2. 9.2.
Strong 9.5.
Yeah, what a fucking movie. It's no Blade. I still think Blade Runner 2049 is a better movie.
Oh, dude, that movie fucking rips.
But I think Blade Runner 2049 is like a 9.6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking high-level stuff. Denis, what a legend already. Cemented.
Rumor has it that's the next Dune I'm gonna see. Rumor has it. What if I was like, haha, actually I didn't see any of them, you fucking chump.
I just Wikipedia'd this whole conversation.
This is generated by AI.
All right, so do you want to do Dune Messiah spoiler?
Oh, dude. Do I? I could avoid it.
You told me to say it earlier.
But then I had a chance to think. He becomes a communist, or not he becomes a dictator, doesn't he?
No, not a dictator.
He becomes a war king for the Holy Land.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
I mean, he basically fully becomes the Messiah. Like, it's fully accepted. And so there becomes a jihad, basically, on behalf of him. And so,
people that want to kill him? What's a jihad?
No, like a religion, like everybody in worship of him kills on behalf of him.
Oh, it's a whole...
He wages a holy war on everybody.
On everybody?
Well, because that's what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Remember, he's like, tell them I'm in fucking charge.
Oh, that's
now.
right. They're all there at the end
and
of
then
that
they
one.
go, no, we're not doing that. Prepare to be attacked. So that's what happens. But so then going forward, right? They win that war, basically, and then that continues through, like, the galaxy. So Dune Messiah is, like, 12 years later. He's now God, basically, to all these people, but is also king, and, like, leading an army. And
holy shit.
Because he can see all the outcomes, like, billions and billions of people have died because of his rule, but he still technically, like, saved Iraqis,
right.
And like it's a better outcome than what could have happened. Like worse, it could have gone worse, basically. And then they basically terraform Iraqis by reducing the spice production and mining and stuff. They kind of like save the planet and like water. It starts raining and shit, and there becomes like grass and things like that.
Fuck yeah.
So the people of Iraqis kind of benefit from the wealth of their planet for the first time, and he does like truly liberate the planet, basically.
Yeah.
So that's basically Dune Messiah.
Yeah.
And then the one after that, it goes forward into the future. And at this point, there's already things where like people can transform into the worms. And it just gets like really out of hand from what I gather.
Whoa.
And then like his kids, he also like mistreats his kids in a way. So they kind of resent him and whatever.
Try to kill him.
And they don't want to he doesn't want them to take over for him, but they want to take over for him. And then it gets really out of hand and I don't know. And then he ends up like blind and in the desert and he becomes like a myth again. But then he becomes like a prophet. Like Paul is still Paul, but he becomes a guy named like the preacher who is trying to like demystify himself, but nobody knows it's him. And then like his kid ends up killing him, but he's the prophet and not Paul.
What?
Like he ends up getting murdered because he's disavowing Paul Atreides despite being him.
It's not
because
about
that's
Paul
how
the
big
entire time. Yeah.
He becomes bigger than himself, basically. But yes, then at that point the story shifts
Crazy.
to being about like his kids, and then they rule, and then it goes like thousands of years into the future.
Got it.
So Paul's arc basically ends with Messiah because the book after that, it's literally called Children of Dune, and that's when what I just explained happens.
Oh, got it.
So that's why Denis' story is going to end with Messiah, because he's just telling the story of Paul, basically, and that's it.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Literally, yeah.
That's a wild
But yeah, and then
ride.
it just gets even crazier from there, and then there ends up being prequel books and after books, and it ends up becoming like an entire like 20,000 year arc.
Yeah.
But the Paul Atreides story is 3 books. So that's what's next. But yeah, that's also why it will be adaptable in one movie, though, technically, unless he wants to do some Peter Jackson shit, which I don't recommend. He said he only wants to do one more movie.
Yeah.
Dune, the book, 800 pages. Dune Messiah is like 300 pages.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's definitely like truly one movie's worth.
Yeah.
And then the next book's also like a one movie thing if the studio wanted to get greedy and make another one without him, which would be a mistake, but it's what usually happens.
Yeah. They like the 3 years.
But they're also
Those are
doing
good
a prequel TV show. So they are going to dive more into the lore of it. Denis not like directing all of that. I think he's producing it, but apparently that's coming soon.
A prequel?
Series.
Is Timmy going to be
Like
in
a
it?
show.
Yeah.
No. It's about the women witch ladies,
Sick.
I think. Which I would be more interested
I did
in the
like
Freeman, you know.
Yeah.
But
No,
I think
I
it's
like
more
the witch
about like
stuff.
Atreides Harkonnen Emperor prequel shit. So at least you get a little more context.
I need that context.
Listen,
for sure.
I will say I like Dune's lore and story, and I am into it. I will watch the prequel stuff. Like Lord of the Rings, I could give a fuck. Those movies worked because those are great movies and because that story's interesting.
And
I
you don't
think,
like Harry Potter either, right?
no, that's for kids. That's gay shit. Fuck that. That shit's so stupid to me. I think that's literally Dune is like doing like governmental and spiritual diving deep into. Harry Potter's literally about an orphan wizard. There's no depth.
Yeah.
There's nothing beyond the text in Harry Potter. This is a rich. Don't compare this to Harry Potter. That's offensive.
It's a series.
And listen, obviously
there's lore.
This has been like a hardcore sci-fi nerd thing for years and years and years, so I'm way behind on this too. I'm only into it on a surface level movies TV. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to go read these books.
Yeah.
No thank you. I don't read. I
That's real.
can't even read the books I want to read. I'm not going to go read. So I'm not acting like I'm going to nerd out too much on this shit, but I'm going to watch all of it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like I'm not bought into the Lord of the Rings lore. I think they did a great job with those movies to get me invested in those stories, but I don't care what happens beyond it. It means nothing to me. I want to know more about Dune. What is the origin of this shit? I think part of the reason is because they left it so open-ended and just not spelled out.
I could maybe read the books.
You can't read a book. When's the last time you read any book?
I tried like last week, dude.
Yeah, that's not what I mean. I mean cover to cover. When's the last time you read a full novel?
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Same.
Like a year,
Yeah.
Yeah.
More for me.
year and a half.
I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I got books.
I got books too.
Don't read them.
Yeah.
I told myself I was going to read every Kurt Vonnegut novel 6 years ago. They're 200 pages. Easy reads. You fly through it. The guy's a great writer.
Yeah.
I've read like 3. I got like 6 to go still.
Damn.
Not 3 total. 3 more. I'd already read 4 or 5.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I still have like 6 left. It's been years.
Yeah.
I could read a book in a weekend.
I have Cat's Cradle, actually. It's your copy, and
Yeah, it's my favorite book.
it is.
That's a dense
so
book.
Good.
Yeah. There's
So
a lot
good.
going on in that.
Haven't
That was
fi-
supposed to be developed into a series on FX. Never happened. Tragic for me.
I haven't finished it.
Also a very religious-based book.
Yeah.
A lot funnier than Dune, I will say.
It's fun.
Yeah, I love that book. That's my favorite Vonnegut book. That's just my favorite book because I don't read many books.
Hence,
Yeah.
here we are.
Yeah. So that's why my
I
favorite.
might read them. I might read Dune. I might do maybe one.
It's 800 pages.
Maybe I'll
dude.
do Messiah.
It might be 900 pages.
That's insane.
Yeah, but
dude.
no, because you can't read the third book without the context of the book. Like you need the first book.
Yeah.
Having seen the movies and then reading the third book, there's going to be entire characters that you're not going to know that are probably referenced in the first book. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's a lot that's going to be cut still,
you're right.
even though it was a 6-hour movie.
Insane.
What an achievement. Love you, Denis. Love you, Timothy. Zendaya creeps me out.
It's like that, huh?
It bothers. Yeah, nothing
I
against
like
her.
that-
She's a good actress. It's just I
I like how they introduced Florence Pugh as the new woman, and I think that because it was less about their relationship, like Chinese and Paul's, like I liked it more for sure.
What I don't understand is that if the war is upon them anyway, why does he need to be with her? Just to have the literal Emperor's army on his side by default? That's why. I guess that is why.
Yeah.
They need the extra fighters for sure.
Oh, you think maybe that marriage won't work out though?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
He stays fucking Chani the whole time. That's
Oh.
just a political marriage.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why he was saying that to her. Didn't you notice as the movie was going on, it went from "I'll always be with you" to "I'll always love you" to like,
I love
you know, yeah. He just like kept changing it,
Yeah.
and he kept revealing like through his face and body language that this is what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like I knew he was going to take. It wasn't a surprise to me that he went with the Emperor's daughter.
No.
He made it pretty clear. I thought
Yeah.
she didn't see it coming
No, she
because
didn't.
she's not in his game. Like
Yeah.
he understood that he was doing really high level things for the greater good.
Yeah.
And needed to she didn't understand what he was sacrificing.
But he does stay with
No, he
Chani
ends
at
up
the
be-
end?
Well, basically, I think they can't have kids, and then he refuses to have kids with the Emperor. So I don't know what happens after that. He ends up becoming a negative, villainous figure, basically.
Politically.
Overall, yeah,
Yeah.
like he just has to make too much negative decisions. So it's like that's how this is going to end. Like there's no happy ending.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's great.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm in. But yeah, I don't know where, like, again, I'm just reading summaries here, so I don't really know exactly what goes into it all.
Right. Yeah. It could be different. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's all speculation.
But I don't even know, like,
all speculation at this point.
yeah, but I don't even know in particular, like, what decisions he makes or what happens with who. I tried to not read too much into it
Yeah.
to not ruin anything, but obviously I know. You're going to need a little context, though, because that's just... These movies don't work without context. That's my one overall point.
These people know that it's a fucking spoiler alert when they get on here. You gotta have seen them.
No, I just mean, like, that's my one critique that I could see people having, is that they're not willing to read up into the backstory or like the lore
yeah.
a little bit. But you need to, if you were confused by the movie, just kind of read a summary and then watch it again or don't and reflect on it at least. And you'll think highly of it, I would think. I just don't see pretty flawless stuff. Pretty just great stuff.
Yeah, you gave it a 9.
Well, but just part 2. Yeah.
That's what I'm
Part 1 was
about.
a little lacking.
I know that I'm just talking about 2.
Yeah. Like, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Movie of the year so far, I mean, no doubt.
For sure.
I think it was better than the best movie last year, which I thought was Oppenheimer. Like, it was immediately better than Oppenheimer. Had it come out last year, like,
it would have won.
I don't know. I think Oppenheimer would have got the cred, but I would have been pissed.
You think so? Just because it's a sci-fi?
I think.
No.
Well,
I think
listen, the only time in my life I've been pro Christopher Nolan is when he's by himself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Scorsese was great, but we knew he didn't have a shot. The Academy doesn't love him, you know. So that's all I'm saying. I would have been championing Dune over Oppenheimer, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't even know what's due this year. We got a long way to go, though, before we start talking Oscars next year.
Yeah.
So
what are you doing next week? You're doing a Gyllenhaal thing?
Roadhouse, baby.
Yeah. What is that coming out on?
Amazon Prime.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Friday.
That's exciting.
This Friday, Roadhouse. Everybody watch it. I think the original, I was watching it last night, was also on Prime, which makes sense. Finally, thank God, a streaming service has the relevant adjacent movie. Yeah, thank God. All these places like, oh, the sequel's out now on our platform, but we don't have the first one. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Awful.
Have the original, have the remake, and they do. So go watch the original, watch the remake on Friday. That's what we're doing next week, baby. You coming on? We'll see. Maybe. Yes?
Probably.
That's a high bar.
I know.
We'll see.
We set bars.
Roadhouse.
Love
that shit. All right. This was the Dune Mega Talk. The Denis Dune discussion.
The
Denis Dune double feature discussion.
With Lynch. With David.
The David and Denis double Dune double feature discussion day.
Yeah.
All right. Rate, review, subscribe, share, microwaveminutes.com. Check the links in the description below. And remember, I are fat, you are fat, we are fat. Calculator.